Initial reactions to the Week 12 college football playoff rankings. First, I want to start with Tulane, after losing to UCF in a game that they came back, but it wasn't really close for the majority of the game. Tulane, they didn't really look great, but they're still ranked one spot behind UCF with a bad loss, Southern Miss, and then obviously lost to 20th ranked UCF. I don't know if they should be ahead of a team like Oregon State, who has looked pretty solid throughout this whole season, and a team like Cincinnati, who also has looked really solid, and they have two better losses while playing the same conference, having better wins. So I think Cincy should probably be above Tulane. That's my only real issue with 20 to 25. Notre Dame sneaking up to 18, helping to strengthen the record of Ohio State. My biggest issue kind of starts in this range here from 11 to 17. It's mainly the Pac-12. I don't think Penn State should be above Oregon. Oregon is a team that lost a close game to Washington and also lost to the number one team in the country. Penn State they did lose to two top three teams, but they lost bad in both of those games. UCLA above Washington, I agree with. They did beat Washington. Kansas State above UCLA, I can't see it. UCLA has more quality wins. They have wins over a Utah team that's in the top 10. Kansas State, they don't have any wins against top 10 teams. So I don't really understand how Kansas State is above UCLA team that's pretty much been solid. I understand UCLA has a bad loss, but Kansas State also lost to Tulane. So I don't really know, and obviously they're 7-3 as opposed to UCLA being 8-2. Washington, same thing against Kansas State. Obviously they do have the Arizona State loss, so you can make that argument. But I do think UCLA should be above Kansas State. I do think UCLA should be above Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a team with two top 10 losses, but that LSU loss was really, really bad, and that's a 2-loss LSU team with one quality win on the season, which is against Alabama. I don't understand why we would have a Ole Miss team that's looked bad against a team with one quality win under a team that has multiple quality wins, including like Utah, Washington. Utah at 10 is interesting to me. They're the highest ranked Pac-12 team. It's weird. I don't know if they should be above Oregon. I mean, obviously they play this week, so that'll sort itself out, but I don't agree with it. For right now, North Carolina being at 13 is really weird. So it seems to me as if they're saying even if North Carolina wins out, they can't get in, which is weird. They're 9-1 and they have a chance to be a 9-1 conference champ. They should be above a team like Oregon, who has 2 losses, a team like Penn State, who has 2 losses. I understand North Carolina has a loss to Notre Dame, and they've played close with some teams they shouldn't play close with, but wins are wins. You got a TCU team that's played close with teams and they're undefeated. So I just feel like North Carolina at 13 is disrespectful. Alabama at 8, not a huge problem with it. Clemson-Alabama argument can be made, but everyone kind of thinks Alabama's a better team than Clemson, so I can understand it. SC under LSU kind of frustrates me. SC, they don't have any great wins. They have a close loss to Utah on the road in a hostile environment against a top 10 team according to the ranking committee. LSU, they have one win at home against an Alabama team hasn't really looked great this season. LSU, their resume doesn't really speak volumes to me. They do have a loss to Florida State at the beginning of the season on a missed extra point, which is fine, but I think they're just trying to say LSU if they win out, they're in. I don't think LSU is that good. I don't think they're better than SC. LSU, they don't look that great. Tennessee, if you're a Tennessee fan, you're in a really, really good spot. You gotta hope that SC doesn't win out. The Pac-12 is gonna cause themselves chaos as they always do. They did last week. They have potential to do again this week with the top 4 teams all playing each other this week. If you're a Tennessee fan, you're a big UCLA fan this week, and you're also a big Utah fan this week because Utah lost to a team you beat. And you're also hoping that Miami can pull off an upset against Clemson, which I think they have a chance to do. Freshman quarterback, a defense that's been able to create a lot of turnovers against a turnover-prone quarterback throughout these past few weeks, and an inconsistent secondary. I don't know. Clemson can be on upset watch. Yeah, if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm a huge Utah fan this week. I'm a huge Miami fan this week, and I'm a huge UCLA fan this week because if those games go your way, you're likely in. If you're USC, win out, you're in. If you're Clemson, win out, and it can be a conversation. If you're UNC, unfortunately, I don't think you really have a chance. You're at 13 right now with 2 games left in the regular season. Even if you win out and are 11-1, I don't think you can get inside the top 8. What makes me think, would you do for you to jump Alabama in the ranking from the committee standpoint? I can't see anything that would propel you guys above the Alabama team that has kind of looked better than you guys on the season. So I don't know if UNC can get in, even if they do win out. Clemson, you have a chance. Tennessee, you're in a really good spot, especially with Ohio State and Michigan playing. Michigan, I think you have to win out. I don't think you can lose that Ohio State game and get in. Ohio State, you have a chance because Notre Dame has looked good and they're ranked. If you're Michigan, your out-of-conference schedule is UConn, Colorado State, and Hawaii. Like, that's a terrible strength of schedule out of conference, and the committee won't reward you for it, and especially against a Tennessee team that right now is 3rd in the country in strength schedule. So I don't see you getting in. Georgia is in regardless, I believe, unless they slip up against Kentucky or Georgia Tech these next 2 weeks. They're in, even if they lose to LSU in the championship. If you're an LSU fan, the committee is saying right now if LSU wins, they're in. If they're at 6. Now, what's interesting is I think Tennessee can block LSU out because of the head-to-head. It was a blowout. And are we saying that because Tennessee's in the East Division Division, not the West Division, that they're not going to get in because of LSU instead of LSU. Now, the obvious denominator would be the game against Georgia. TCU, you guys look really, really good right now. You guys won a defensive battle this week while winning offensive battles throughout the year. You guys can win in multiple different ways. You guys look like a really legit team. Kind of got to win out, though, because you guys are teetering on that edge of, do you want to be in a conversation with a Tennessee, a USC, and a Clemson if you're a one-loss team in the Big 12 and your conference isn't as good as Tennessee's, your offense isn't as good as SC's, your defense isn't as good as Clemson's, so like really where do you fit in? If you're TCU, you really want to win out, potentially get in if you don't, but you guys look like Clemson kind of in terms of your wins, not in terms of your losses, and your quarterback's a lot better than Clemson's quarterback has been these past 3-4 weeks. Yeah, that's my reaction. Like, comment, subscribe, yeah.